selections for the year. So we're going to go ahead and start off with introducing our students. They're going to say their name and what class they're from.
My name is Baylor, and I'm in Miss Allen's class.
My name is James, and I'm in Miss Molina's class.
My name is Wyatt, and I'm in Miss McMahon's class.
My name is Skylar, and I'm in Miss McMahon's class. My name is Simra, and I'm in Miss Coker's class.
I'm Libby, and I'm in Miss Coker's class.
I'm Lily, and I'm in Miss Edwards' class.
I'm Paige, and I'm in Miss Edwards' class.
I'm Peyton, and I'm in Miss Edwards' class.
I'm Nicholas, and I'm in Miss Molina's class.
I'm Paige, and I'm in Miss Morris' class.
I'm Dale, and I'm in Miss Morris's class. I'm Ashton, and I'm in Miss Morris's class.
I'm Gabby, and I'm in Miss Morris's class.
I'm Lorla, and I'm in Miss Morris's class.
I'm Carla, and I'm in Miss Morris's class. I'm Cassidy, and I'm in Miss Bird, the Queen of the Universe's class.
Okay, way to go, students. Thank you so much. We have a good selection of 4th and 5th grade students here ready to discuss this book. So first of all, how many of you, by a show of hands, how many of you liked this book? Cool. Okay, does anybody know who the author of this book is? Libby. Microphone, please.
Jeff Probst.
Jeff Probst. And do you know what he's famous for?
No.
No? Okay, pass the microphone to Lorelai right there.
He is famous for making the show Survivor.
Yes, he's the host of Survivor. He's the host of Survivor. How convenient that he wrote this book, because he had a lot of background knowledge for this book. Okay, in this book, Stranded, we had a set of students, a set of children, Carter Benson and Jane Benson, and Buzz Diaz and Vanessa Diaz. They were all on this boat. Where was the setting? Where was the setting for this story? James.
Off of the coast of Honolulu.
And say that again into the microphone.
Oh, off of the coast of Honolulu.
Okay, and what state was that?
Hawaii.
Hawaii. So this was set in Hawaii. And what were they doing? What was the adventure that they were on? Let's see. Simra. Thank you for waiting for that microphone, guys. Way to go.
They were on an adventure to have, I think, 900 miles off the coast.
Okay.
And then they were going to
What were they doing? What were they on?
water.
They were on water in what? In what was their mode of transportation?
A boat?
Yeah, they were on a sailboat. They were on a sailboat. Why were they on this sailboat? Why were they having this adventure at this time? Paige.
Because their parents were on their honeymoon, and their uncle offered to take them on a vacation.
Exactly. We have two different families who decided, the mom and the dad decided to get married because they fell in love and got married. They were on their honeymoon. And Uncle Dexter decided to take them on this sailing adventure while their parents went off for a short honeymoon. So they were in Hawaii. They were off the coast of Hawaii. They were 4 days out and 900 miles off the coast of Hawaii. And what happened? Baylor.
There was a storm.
Yes, and what happened during that storm?
The boat crashed into a giant rock.
Okay. And what happened to the boat after it crashed?
It got split in half.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the uncle and someone, I know his name was Dexter, and then there was someone, and they floated away in a lifeboat.
Yes, so we have the adults being separated from the children. The adults were getting into the life raft. They drifted off, and the children were left alone on the boat, so they got separated. What happened after that? Let's go to Ashton down here.
They found themselves stuck on an island
Okay. Do you know what they called that island?
They called it Nowhere Island.
Nowhere Island. They gave it that name. Yes, they did. So they found themselves on this island, and that's the setting for this story. Okay. Out of these four characters, who did you relate to the most? Who did you relate to the most, and why? Let's start with Kala down here.
I think Vanessa, because at home I'm a little bossy to my brother,
Okay.
and she's like the boss of everyone.
And Vanessa was the oldest, right? So she felt like she had to take on that oldest child role. Okay, somebody else? Dale.
I think I relate to Carter the most because I like sports.
Okay, and Carter was, yes, he was very athletic. Somebody else? Peyton.
I think I related to Jane the most because she was the youngest.
Yes, do you remember how old she was?
I think she was 9.
Yes, we had children from 9. There were 2 boys that were 11, and then Vanessa was 13. Okay, somebody else? Libby? Passing the microphone. Thank you very much.
I think I related to Jane the most because when she like used her camera as a flashlight,
Okay.
I'm good at using like what I have to make stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Even though I'm the oldest, not the youngest.
Okay. Kala. Pass the microphone. I'm sorry, Lorelei. Pass the microphone to Lorelei. I'll get your names.
I think I kind of related to Carter because I'm very athletic.
Okay, Carter, because you're very athletic. Okay, interesting. Who do you think, before we go on, let me ask you what Boomerang Day was. They had a lot of terminology, geography terminology, a lot of geography terminology in this story that I found absolutely fascinating. What's Boomerang Day? Cassidy.
They would turn around and go back.
Yes, so they're halfway through their trip, they boomerang back. If you've ever seen a boomerang, it's do we call it a toy? It's a device that you throw and it flips back to you, right? A toy? Yeah.
It's kind of like a frisbee.
Kind of like a frisbee, exactly.
But it hurts and it's hit me.
Yes. So it was Boomerang Day when the storm actually came, right? Okay. What is a PFD? What's a PFD? PFD. Lorelei. What does it stand for?
I think it stands for like whenever you're in an emergency and you need to call someone.
You're on the right track. We don't usually recognize it by this name. Skylar, thank you.
A personal flotation device.
Exactly, personal flotation device. And Skylar, what is another name that we know it by? Do you know?
No.
No? Okay, Simra.
A lifeboat.
Not a lifeboat, but something that you wear.
Raft.
Something that you wear.
Jacket.
Tell me your name again. Lily, pass the microphone to Lily.
A life jacket?
A life jacket, yeah, a life jacket. Personal flotation devices are life jackets, and everybody should have one when they're on a boat. Let's see. Okay, if you were, and this is a question I want you to think about, if you were stranded on a desert island, what kind of things would you need to survive? If you were stranded on a desert island, what kind of things would you need to survive? What would you need on that boat? Paige.
You probably need food since they really needed food because their boat went away. And also they would probably need blankets in case it got cold.
Okay. And pass the phone to Ashton.
Okay.
Microphone to Ashton.
A pocket knife for sharpening stuff.
A pocket knife. Excellent. And I like how you said what it was for. Gabby. Okay. Lots of water to drink to survive. Kala.
first aid kit just in case if someone got cut.
Okay, a first aid kit for emergency purposes. How about Lorelai?
Like food.
Okay, somebody said food before. Dale?
Maybe a bow or a gun.
Yeah.
Maybe a bow or a gun, so in case something that could hurt you.
Okay, so
wanted
something
to
to
eat
hunt
it.
with, maybe?
Mhm.
Something to hunt with. Okay. How about Nicholas?
In the book, I know they used a flare when the plane flew over to signal somebody.
Okay, so maybe some emergency devices for notifying people, for contacting them.
I know people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but an iPhone, because iPhones can, the newest iPhones can reach reception anywhere. And if you call, it's within 24 hours that they'll find you. Because,
Okay.
planes can't get stuck in storms and all.
Okay. What about a charger? Is there any way to charge it once you have that cell phone? The batteries are going to go down.
There's now, portable charging stations that can reach.
Okay.
So.
So possibly. Great response. Peyton.
A GPS, just in case you're on the island and you get lost on the island, you can find your way back.
Yes, some kind of GPS. Does anybody know, before GPSs were popular, how did you find yourself? If you got lost in the woods, how would you find your way out? What do Boy Scouts use? Skylar, pass the microphone back, please.
Maps.
Maps. Well, they use maps, but they also use something else that you can put it in your pocket. Simra.
A compass.
A compass. Yeah, a compass, which also lets you know the direction that you're going in. But GPS is a very handy thing to have if you get lost. Okay. What kind of challenges, once they got on the island, what kind of challenges did they face? What kind of challenges did these children, because they were children, what kind of challenges did they face? Baylor.
There were dangerous animals. They were stuck on the island with no adult, or there was one way of communication that didn't quite work, and then there was a lot of dangerous animals and things on the island.
Okay, possible dangerous animals and communication. One way of communication. What was that?
They had a cell phone, but what they had to do was they had to make a solar powered charger to charge the cell phone so they could make a call.
Okay, and it wasn't a cell phone. It was a satellite phone. A sat phone. Yeah. Okay. Peyton.
Finding a place to sleep after the boat sank.
Finding a place to sleep. Yes. Ashton.
At first they couldn't remember where they were, so they didn't know where to tell people where to find them.
Okay, so they didn't quite know where they were because the adults knew, but the kids didn't. Gabby?
They didn't have any water.
Yes, they ran out of water. The water that they had didn't last, so they had to find a fresh source of water. Carla?
They didn't have food.
They didn't have any food. That you run out after a while. You do run out after a while. Libby?
Mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes and bugs. Yes, mosquitoes and bugs. And yes, there might be diseases that certain animals do carry. Paige.
When Jane and Carter went to go find water, they both almost got swept away by the strong current.
Okay, so crossing things that you don't know quite if they're safe or not. So they did get caught in a current, and they had to swim very hard and very fast. Simra?
They weren't really stuck on an island. They were stuck on a underwater volcano, and the island was about to sink.
Okay, so what was the challenge?
The island was about to sink, so
The island was about to sink. Okay, that possibly might have happened. I didn't get the sense that it was that was happening, but somebody else's interpretation certainly might have thought that. Paige?
They had to build a fire also to like boil the water and cook their food. And it was kind of a struggle to do it.
Okay. Yeah. We have a sequel to this book. This book leaves you hanging. It definitely goes on to the second book. In this book, there was not fire. In this book, there was not fire, but there is a sequel. So, yes, make sure you stay tuned for that. And one more response. Carla, please.
I wasn't raising my hand.
I'm sorry, Lorelai. I'm going to get you mixed up all this
They
time.
had no source of heat.
Pardon me?
They had no source of heat whenever they were sleeping.
No source of heat. No source of heat. Okay. Hang on just a minute, Libby. So what kind of adjustments did they have to make on this island? What kind of adjustments did they have to make? How did they improvise? Gabby.
They had to find their own food instead of going to like a restaurant or like to a fast food.
Okay. Okay. Libby.
They used a fallen tree as a bridge to get over like a canyon.
Yes, they used natural resources to get around the island. Skylar?
They had to work together.
Ooh, they definitely had to work together. Definitely had to work together. And they found out real quick that separating was not a very good thing to do. Baylor?
They needed clean water because the salt water could make you sick.
Okay, so they had to improvise and find fresh water. Okay, Ashton?
At first, they kind of had trouble deciding a leader and who should do what. Like, I know Carter and Vanessa fought over who should lead.
Mm-hmm. They certainly did. They certainly did. And in any kind of group situation, you have people who want to lead and people who come out as a leader who are better meant for that position, right? Kala?
They had to adapt to the weather and what lived there.
Exactly. They did have to adapt to the weather. Let me ask you this question. James, hang on. Let me ask you this question. Which one of the characters surprised you? Which one surprised you? Which one did you, yes, I'm not going to say anything else about that. Which one surprised you, Cassidy?
I think Jane, because she was the youngest and she came up with most of the ideas that they used. And I think she was the smartest of them all.
Okay.
Because she was clever.
Okay, so she was kind of like Libby. She liked to invent things out of nothing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Ashton, behind you.
Buzz, because he actually knew a lot about surviving because he watched TV a lot and he watched a lot of survival shows.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did, and he got a lot of his ideas from watching those video games and those TV shows. Paige.
I think Buzz, because on the boat he would always just play his video games, but when they crossed the canyon, after they got there, he told them how to build a signal fire.
Okay, so he showed them how to do that. Nicholas?
I think Vanessa surprised me the most because after a while, she just got kind of tired of bossing everybody around. And it just, during the book, you think that it's just going to be her bossing everyone around during the whole time. But it just kind of surprised me that she didn't.
Okay, James?
I'd say Buzz, because he was kind of like out of shape, played video games all day, ate potato chips, went to McDonald's all the time. But like, he ended up getting what they needed to survive, because he was just like and then he totally jumped into action when they needed it.
Yes, he did. He certainly did. Skylar?
I'd say Buzz because
like they say, or said, he was just like totally not helpful, like sitting around on the boat. And then when they were on the island, he helped with technology. He helped start to fix the solar panel, and also he helped build the signal fire.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Libby, last response, please.
I'm with Ashton, Paige, James, and Skylar because Buzz really did surprise me.
Yes, he did. How did he he was the one who decided a way to get fresh water. How did he do that? Do you remember, Libby?
Wasn't he thought like of like the mountains with like a freshwater stream coming through it?
Okay, there's something he did on the boat before the boat fell off the mountain cliff there. What did he do? Peyton?
When it started to rain, Buzz, he got blankets and buckets, and he got a blanket and he tied it onto the boat to catch water, and he got buckets to catch water into the buckets.
Yes, and he took that top sail and he rigged it up so the water would run down into the containers, right? So he was very, very innovative. Okay, did they ever get off the island? Did they ever get off, Wyatt?
No, they did not get off.
Not yet. Not at the end of this book, anyway. So it does leave you hanging. There is a sequel. Who was the one that figured out? Who was the one that figured out where they were? Which character did that? Lily.
Jane.
Okay, and how did she figure out where they were?
She found Dexter's journal where he wrote down everything.
Okay,
about
Dexter
their
the uncle.
trips.
So he had ship's logs that he kept information in, and that was part of it. And what else did he use, Wyatt?
Dexter wrote down like the longitude and latitude of where they were.
All that information was in the ship's logs, but there was one more thing that was important to this concept. Ashton?
When Jane, her and Vanessa looked at the sea maps over and over again to try to find out where they were. And also they remembered it was Boomerang Day when they crashed, so they kind of used that to figure out where they were.
Okay, and what led them to the maps? Do you remember what was Jane known for? What did she like to do? Lorelai.
She liked to, she figured it out because she was watching some of her videos on her camera, and she found a map that had a pencil marking on it, and that was where they were, I think.
Yes, so Jane liked to record things. She liked to be a reporter, and she remembered that she was taping Dexter talking about the maps they were on. And when Dexter was talking about it, he had marked something, drew a circle around something. So she was able to go back to the maps and the sea logs and find out exactly where they were. So that's good. So I hope you enjoyed talking about this book. How many of you are reading the second book? Okay, you can always put a hold on it if you want to read the book. It's called Stranded 2, but it continues the journey of these 4 children out off the coast of Hawaii. Okay, so we wish you a very nice rest of your day. This is our last book talk for this year. Next year, stay tuned. We'll have many more kids talks to come. Okay, thank you very much and have a great day.